In the summer of 1966, a picture-perfect day turned into a haunting mystery when three siblings vanished from a beach in Australia, a place where laughter and sunlight filled the air, only to be replaced by an eerie silence. The Beaumont children, Jane, aged 9, Arna, 7, and Grant, just 4, went missing without a trace, plunging their family into a nightmare. What made this disappearance even more perplexing was that there were no witnesses, no evidence, and astonishingly, no bodies. Just the lingering question: what happened to the Beaumont children? Imagine little feet scurrying across warm sand, carefree laughter floating on the breeze. The three children, excited about a day at Glenelg Beach, were meant to be just a few steps away from their mother. But when she turned around to check on them, just moments later they were gone. Panic set in immediately as she called for them, their names echoing into the void of absence. The beach, once a playground, morphed into a setting of despair as authorities swarmed the area, combing through the sand as if they could find answers hidden in grains. Hope flickered. Perhaps they had wandered off, maybe playing nearby or seeking an ice cream stand. But hours turned into days, the sun dipping below the horizon as darkness consumed the beach, and with it, the hope of seeing the children alive again. With each passing hour, authorities faced bewildering confusion. There were no signs of struggle, no semblance of a kidnapping. All they had were a few fleeting glimpses of random beachgoers who may or may not have seen the children. And yet the families held tight to the belief that they would be found. As investigations progressed, another discovery unsettled the entire community. Reports emerged of a suspicious man seen lurking near the beach that day. Witnesses described him as slightly disheveled, wearing dark clothing and sunglasses, his demeanor seeming off, but each account presented inconsistencies. Some said he had gray hair, others claimed he was freshly shaven. Various descriptions painted a far murkier picture than any clarity. Who was this man? Was he really a threat, or merely a figment of a collective imagination fueled by fear? Days turned into weeks, the search for the children ultimately proving futile. As media coverage intensified, the case took on a life of its own. The Beaumont children became symbols of tragedy, triggering widespread panic and suspicion in families across Australia. Rumors rattled neighborhoods while investigators struggled to make sense of the piecemeal testimonies they had collected. Then, a lead surfaced from an unlikely source: a cab driver named Tom who had no history of involvement in crimes but claimed to have seen the missing children with a man in a car a few blocks away from the beach that fateful day. His testimony shook the precinct. Could this be the breakthrough they desperately needed? Tell us everything you remember, the lead detective urged, heart racing as Tom recounted his story. I was just driving by and they were in the back seat, Tom said, voice shaky. The man had dark sunglasses, and I thought it looked suspicious, so I made a note of the license plate. The detectives exchanged hopeful glances. They needed to find that car, anything to pin down this lead and maybe, just maybe, locate the children alive. But there was a hitch when they checked the plate. It belonged to a vehicle that had been reported stolen 2 days prior. Was this man really connected, or just another ghost in the widening circle of mystery surrounding the Beaumont children? As investigations continued, doubts began to creep in. After reviewing security camera footage from nearby shops, the detectives saw something that made their blood run cold. A shadowy figure could be seen trailing the children just moments before they disappeared but slipped away in the crowd before anyone could catch a clear glimpse. Hours of discussion led to conflicting conclusions. Some believed the man was an innocent passerby, while others suspected he was a predator that had planned the disappearances meticulously. The stress of the unknown became palpable as investigators waded through the web of speculation. Then the turning point came. Months after the disappearance, a woman named Jill claimed she had information. She approached the police trembling, her voice barely above a whisper. I can tell you what happened. I know where they are, she said, as everyone in the room held their breath. What do you mean? The detective pressed, gripping his notebook tightly. You have to tell us everything. Where can we find them? She hesitated, glancing over her shoulder as if someone might be listening. I saw them. I saw the man with the children, she admitted, eyes wide with terror. He was taking them somewhere. Just as she was about to divulge more, an ominous figure emerged from behind the door. A man in a dark coat, the weathered face obscured by shadows, stepped ominously into the room, cutting Jill off mid-sentence. The atmosphere turned electric with fear, as everyone braced for the worst. Leave her alone, the man snarled, his eyes narrowing. You don't want to know what happened that day. The detective sprang to his feet. Who are you? He felt his heart pounding against his chest as the room filled with a suffocating tension. But before anyone could respond, the figures clashed, chaos erupted. Cables were overturned and shouts filled the air. In the scuffle, Jill broke free from the grasp of the men who had interrupted them. Just before she darted for the exit, she shouted, "They're not where you think. The truth is deeper than it looks." The man lunged toward her, but the door slammed shut behind her as she sprinted away. Shock spread through the room. Asterisk, what truth? What deeper meaning? They regrouped, shock etched into their faces. Nobody had anticipated a situation like this, an informant caught in a web of the unknown, snatched away by the shadows. Detectives, we need to find her. She knows something that could change everything. One officer yelled, desperation spilling over. But as they raced outside, ready to trail her, a sudden sense of dread settled deeply into their bones. The leads had grown murky, the mystery wider. Could they even trust what they thought they knew? Just moments ago, a stranger had barged into the investigation room, cutting off Jill mid-sentence. Her warning hung heavy in the air. They're not where you think. The truth is deeper than it looks. And then, in a flash of chaos, she darted away, leaving the detectives grasping for answers while a shadowy figure lingered ominously at the door. Who was this man, and what did he know about the Beaumont children's disappearance? The lead detective, racing adrenaline coursing through his veins, shouted to his team, "We need to find Jill. She's the key to unraveling this whole thing. Split up and cover every exit." As officers scattered, the stranger's presence felt suffocating, as if his very aura contained a secret that could shatter everything. The detective approached him cautiously, realizing the man's calm demeanor contrasted sharply with the urgency of the situation. "Who are you?" he demanded, eyes narrowing. "Just a concerned citizen," the man replied coolly. "But you've headed down a dark path. What you seek is not meant to be found." His cryptic words hung in the air. When the detective pressed further, instinctively reaching toward his badge, the man smirked before casually slipping out the door, disappearing into the blurring crowd outside. "Damn it," the detective yelled, frustration coursing through him. "Get back to the main station. We need every officer on this." Meanwhile, outside in the streets, officers combed area after area. They had to find Jill. But why did she seem so terrified? What horrifying truth was she guarding? As the detective replayed the night's events in his mind, one name popped up repeatedly, the shadowy figure in the black coat. Suddenly it clicked, the man Tom, the cab driver had described. Wearing dark sunglasses, possibly a black coat. Was there a connection? They had to follow this thread. Hours passed with no sign of Jill. Dread turned to despair. After consolidating everyone's accounts, the detective pulled together the descriptions of the mysterious man. "Can we check for any other sightings near Glenelg Beach? Check the neighborhood for cameras. Anything," he barked, determination etched in every line of his face. Then, all at once, a crackle came over the radio. "Detectives, we have a situation at the beach. A woman matching Jill's description was seen near the old amusement park, looking panicked. The detective's heart raced. He could feel the gears of fate turning. Everyone move. They rushed towards the amusement park, knowing it had been abandoned for years. Forgotten, encased in layers of crumbling paint and rusting rides, the shadows of the past could be hiding secrets of today. As they arrived, the atmosphere shifted. Darkened rides loomed like skeletons in the twilight, and the air grew thick with uncertainty. Split up and search, the lead detective ordered, scanning the dimly lit area. He pushed through the entangled remnants of the park, his breath echoing in the silence. Then a scream. He darted toward the sound, adrenaline surging. "Jill," he called as he burst through the rubble, emerging into a small clearing. There she was, her eyes wide, pleading, standing before a dilapidated ride, the Ferris wheel, a grim sentinel of the past. But next to her stood the man from earlier, the stranger with a smirk, now sinister under the flickering lights. "You shouldn't have come here," he said softly, reveling in the chaos around him. "Get away from her," the detective shouted, taking a step forward, instinct screaming danger. Time seemed to freeze. But Jill quickly shook her head. "No, he's not trying to hurt me. He's trying to help." The detective's heart sank. What did she mean? What had transpired while he was searching? "What's going on? We don't have time for games," he pressed, desperation threading through his words. "Listen to me," Jill pleaded. "All those months of searching for the Beaumont children, I found something deeper than just a simple case. The man you see here, he knows things. He knows what really happened." Before the detective could respond, the stranger stepped forward. "Your search is misguided. The truth about the Beaumont children isn't just about them, it connects to something much darker." Jill's hands trembled as she added, "After I talked to your team, I dug deeper into the old rumors and old newspaper articles about the children. There are hidden clues, references to a ring of people, a network that runs past just kidnapping. It's about control, power, sacrifice. The revelation hit him like a ton of bricks. "Are you saying there's something more, something ritualistic?" "Exactly," the man said, his voice low and grave. "They believe in a group that believes in acquiring strength by taking innocent lives." Before he could process it, Jill interjected, "The police have been misled by false leads. There's a never-ending string of names connected to the disappearances, and it all leads back to the wheelhouse." At that moment, a siren towed off in the distance, the light of the police cars washing the area in red and blue. "We need to go, now," the detective commanded, feelings of dread swelling. "Subscribe to True Crime and CNET. Follow me," the stranger echoed, darting through a narrow exit. It was a choice wrapped in uncertainty. But time was slipping away. They dashed down the back alleys of the park, Jill pushing against fear and certainty fueling their legs. Clarity emerged as they reached a dimly lit room under a derelict building, a space filled with old photos, newspaper clippings, and sinister sketches that chronicled the lives lost. The detective felt a chill creep through him as they scoured the boards bearing the names of countless missing children throughout the decades. Was this connected to what Jill had said? A ritualistic network hidden in plain sight? Suddenly, a thought crashed against his mind. Could the Beaumont children still be alive? "Look," Jill pointed at one of the pictures, a haunting drawing of 3 children resembling the Beaumont siblings. "They're still looking, trying to find their way, but they're being hidden." Suddenly, they heard a noise behind them. A door creaked open ominously. Heart racing, the detective gripped his weapon tight. He spun around to face the unknown, ready for whatever was lurking in the shadows.